Hi, my name is Safdar. I am a solution architect in Microsoft. I hope you are all able to see my screen and you can all hear me well.
Yes, all good.
Awesome. So first of all, if I start with the Chat GPT, basically, so this is just a little bit of the transformation which we are going through. If you see that if there is 100 million users, um, count of a service or an innovation, basically, right? So if you see, interestingly, like mobile phones took 16 years, internet, big innovation, 7 years. Facebook, like to reach 100 million users, it took like 4.5 years, and Chat GPT in 2 months. So, I mean, you can see that how quick this transformation has been, and it is a continuous transformation. So we are proud to be, in this. In the time where we are seeing another innovation which our previous generations have never seen before. Now, when I talk about Microsoft, right? So Microsoft has, there is something which is Copilot, right? So if you hear our CEO Satya and our executives, so what we are doing, that we are basically releasing and integrating these large language models in our product, right? So we are extending and we are making sure that our customers get the benefit of these technologies, because we know how they work. We have implemented solutions, and some of them co-pilot. So co-pilot, is a very interesting word. So it is co-pilot, right? It works with a human, right? It's a human prompt introduction. So like we have a security co-pilot, Bing Chat, Microsoft 365 co-pilot, right? All your Word documents, all your Excel files, or your team. So you can always ask your that, okay, in the Word document, ask your LLM to create a summary of an anything, write a response. So you can see that where this productivity is going and where we are heading towards, right? And it's the same way for the Dynamics 365 Copilot and Windows Copilot. So when I say Copilot, remember that we are talking about an ecosystem which is driven by artificial intelligence and the large language models. So when I talk about Azure AI, basically we have great services which we use. For example, we have the cognitive search, video indexer, advisor, immersive reader. Then we have some of the services which are very vertical, like decision, language, speech. And if you see on the right side, we have Azure OpenAI service. So this is very interesting. If you see, Azure OpenAI is one of the services which is offered as a part of one ecosystem. So that gives that Azure a unique capability to use the large language models with all of our existing AI services, and to give our customers a differentiated experience, right? So the LLMs are very good in generating and content generation, but definitely you will need an end-to-end architecture to create a complete solution, right? So what I'm trying to say over here, that these services, and we have done so many architectures for our customers, that these services work together. They complement Azure OpenAI service, and then we are able to get a solution or architect a solution which is best of the both worlds, LLMs as well as Azure AI services. At the bottom of this, we have Azure Machine Learning, which I will show you in a couple of minutes as a part of the demo. And then we have AI infrastructure, right? Azure infrastructure, multi-region, highly scalable, and all that architecture and best practices, security, Active Directory. So just you just keep on thinking, and all of that best practices are basically adopted when you deploy an open AI or LLM workload on the Azure AI, Azure services. So when we talk about the Azure machine learning, this is sort of a very common business problem. We will have structured data, we will have unstructured data, and then the Azure machine learning will be able to basically access all of these And then we will be able to prepare the data. Like if you're talking about data preparation, we have a really very mature tool in Azure AI. And I want to link this information when I say that OpenAI as an LLM is as good as the services around it to enhance its productivity and to enhance its capability. Now, when I'm talking about, for example, data preparation or data hosting or deployment or monitoring, so these are very important capabilities when you basically deploy a machine learning workload or an OpenAI workload. So here the Azure ecosystem provides that unique combination of so much mature services, which gives the OpenAI workloads a very differentiated experience. For example, if you are looking for analytics, we have Power BI. I would like to just mention over here something. We have released Microsoft Fabric, which has a co-pilot. Power BI has a co-pilot. So when I'm saying co-pilot, remember that if, for example, if I'm in Power BI, I can write, okay, give me a summary or an analysis of this chart or this data. So LLM will start working on it and give you that sort of context. So this is where the co-pilots and all of that ecosystem, one ecosystem concept comes into the picture. And this is basically, if you see, we have different, we have SDKs, we have CLIs, we have studio user interfaces. We have a very mature ML ops, LLM ops platform. Responsible AI, yeah, responsible AI is so important in right now when we are working with these large language models. And I can tell you, and we'll cover that in the coming slides also. Responsible AI is one of the is one of the focus areas where Microsoft has invested, and Microsoft has spent a lot of time. We have a great maturity in this. We started more than 5 6 years back. Now this is a very mature framework principle, and you know what you say. So around, especially around the large language models, right? So to ensure that the models are not hallucinating, to ensure models, the large language models, they have specific controls across to avoid any harm, any anything related to that, right? So very important. And if you see over Azure AI infrastructure, GPUs, right? One of the basic requirements of running any large language model. So a lot of basically capacity, a good availability of the GPUs to support the large language models fine tuning or large language model hostings and everything, right? So, and this becomes very important, right? Because, when you're talking about a large language model, you're talking about billions of parameters, and the memory footprint of these large language models is huge, right? And they need a lot of parallel processing, right? In inference or at the time of the fine tuning. So GPU architecture is extremely important to host these models, because these models have large memory footprint, right? In gigabytes. So you need a good GPU machine, first of all, which can host that model. At the same time, that infrastructure should have the capability to basically scale out, right? Not one GPU, multiple GPUs to enhance the inferences workloads, and to make sure the customers who are using your chatbots or and doing a lot of inferences in one time can get the response without latency, without any quality issues. Now, when I talk about the LLM lifecycle, right, I know we have always seen machine learning, and we know that machine learning has a life cycle, like data training, and then, ingestion and training, and then, deployment. Now, it's very interesting when you go to large language models. If you see on the left side, right, here it's basically, there is a new term. If you can see, it's basically experiment and evaluate prompt engineering, right? I'm not saying that I am going to prepare for training. I'm going to prepare for data ingestion. I have to change my data in a certain format, like, the machine learning model. If you see LLM ops, if it starts with evaluation of the prompt engineering. Prompt is what? Prompt is what you ask your model, right? It's a sort of communication to your model to ask questions. The model will generate answers, right? So if you see that, this is where the whole, because you know why there is no why there is not much emphasis on the model, on the data preparation, because these models have been trained on petabytes of data, whole Wikipedia, whole internet. They know the information. You know, you have read everywhere, like the model passed the grade 10 exam or bachelor exam. So they have all that data, right? With the prompts, proper prompt communication, we can drive that information out of that model. So this is very important in the first phase. You see that which prompts basically will work, how you will, basically, do you need to do single prompt, or you need to do multiple prompts basically. Then if you go to the right side, definitely you will basically, if your model needs some fine tuning, right? If you have, like, let's say if you are basically working in a medical industry and they have a drug name which are very unique to your organization, model has not seen those drug names, for example, or your proprietary data. So definitely you would like to give some prompt questions and prompt completions, right? As an example, you will not give the model like any data to retrain the model. You will fine tune it, right? You will only fine tune and impact the uppermost layer of the data, which will impact the response format or response metrics of that basically model. So you will tell him, okay, please, when somebody asks you, this is my example, use this example, go to my data, go to my medical field or medical dictionary and get the information, right? So model will understand. So this is what you are basically influencing the model behavior with the fine tuning, right? And then there are certain patterns like RAG, right? Retrieval augmented generation, where enterprises can give their own data to the models to make inference or to get insights from their own data. Remember, in the retrieval augmented generation, you are using the capability of the model, but you are using that capability on your data, right? On your data, right? So you are not giving your data to the model to train the model. You are just referring that data, and the model has learned so much from so many patterns. It When you will ask the prompt that, okay, what is my revenue, it will go to your data, to the RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and it will refer the data, and it will use its capabilities which he has learned over so much petabytes of data, and will generate a result. And on the right side, extreme right side, you will see that we operationalize it, we will host it, we will validate it, we'll monitor it. The good news is that whatever I have spoken over here, Azure is an ecosystem which provides end-to-end complete tools, processes, governance frameworks to handle end-to-end life cycle from left towards right. So, for example, when I'm talking about, I was talking about the Azure Machine Learning is a platform for generative AI. So this is basically one of our machine learning studio. You can see that we have OpenAI models, we have Meta models, we have Hugging Face models, and that is the differentiator, right? So what we are doing, we are also providing open source models to our customers who want to try different models basically from our Azure ML registry, and run some inference or testing on their workloads, right? Then we have prompt engineering and prompt evaluation. We have prompt flow, right? It's a tool where you can write different prompts, you can write different variants of the prompts, and then you can ask the model same question or different questions, and you can see how, or different models, and you can see that how one prompt is basically giving an output across multiple models, like how it is giving a response across Llama 7 billion or ChatGPT 3.57 billion, or one of the Hugging Face models, or our Microsoft 5 models, right? And that all can be done through a workflow, and in few minutes I will be able to show you that from the tools practices, right? And then responsible AI. Very important. We have responsible AI. We have a content safety studio. We have a content filtering framework, which when we deploy our models, our customers can use this. And these content filtering frameworks are AI moderated, which means that they understand the context. Remember, the security is very different from the traditional security in Gen AI models, right? Because Gen AI models work on context. Gen AI models do not work on keywords. So it's very important that the content filtering framework, which is trying to see that what users are asking and what model is responding, are moderated by intelligent AI models, which can understand the whole context of the communication and can basically categorize the communication in the right category, whether it is harmful, safe, or anything related to that. We at in Azure, we have a very mature responsible AI framework. We used to have it on the ML workloads, but now we have expanded it to cover the LLM models as well, right? And then we define the continuous monitoring of the large language models. We have a monitoring framework and a complete end-to-end infrastructure, right? So that's where the unique capabilities of Azure machine learning framework, and see all of these things are working in a complete loop. Everything is helping other plugin. So that's why when I say that it's not only about large language models, it's an end-to-end experience. It's an end-to-end enablement, which is basically possible with the help of Azure AI and machine learning workloads.
Hey,
Now,
Safdar,
sorry.
we're just about out of time. So if you could summarize, I want to make sure you give equal time to all your subsequent speakers. The one thing I want to point out is you look at all these great capabilities as you're looking at all the complexity, the risk, and the tremendous upside of generative AI. Contact me. You can contact Safdar. We can arrange experts to help deploy or at least apply all this great knowledge to your environment to make sure it's secure, safe, your data isn't being used to help other competitors, things like that.
Awesome. I think that sounds great. And I will just finish it over here. Basically, the content filtering in Azure AI, basically what I was talking about, these are basically harmful content. We have done this in four categories, and this is specifically for the large language models, right? For the LLMs, which are like ChatGPT and all those things, and customers can basically categorize the severity levels and do the filtration on those things. So this is a very unique, this is very critical. I wanted to highlight, especially in the age of the open AI and the large language models. And this is one of the interface. I will be, please contact me for any information. We have this, we are short of time. I had some demos also, but we can always, you can contact me and I can basically share that, Ron. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And, thank you for your time.